Welcome to the Nerd Pod.
Back in the Nerd Pod.
The
Here we go.
boy, Mike Allen.
Yeah.
What's going on? What's new?
Oh, what is new? Well, life. Life is new. Oh, wait, we ripping? We on? We live?
Life's good.
Life's good, man. Yeah, no complaints. I'm just trying to figure out how to be a better man.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm working on right now.
What's step number one?
Step number one is getting closer to God.
Yeah.
So I've been pursuing that deeply
Good.
and being very intentional with that. And yeah, dude, I think as I get older, man, like all I want to do is just become a better man and become a better husband, become a better entrepreneur, just grow, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever that looks like, reading books, getting closer to God, and trying to pass that along to other men. So there's not specifically anything that I'm working on right now, but I do have some plans for 2025 that I'm kind of working on.
Sick.
So we'll see what happens with that. But I'll have to come back on for the third time and reveal some of those things for you.
Dude, if you want to live here, you can
I might
show up
just
every day.
put up a tent in this place. It's pretty sick.
It's nice, huh? Just make all the content in the world you want.
That'd be amazing, dude.
That's sweet though. So we're both grinding and hustling, but I think connecting people I think is what kind of both of our missions kind of line is like how do we connect without Reddit and like these shitty platforms that are just spam bots, and how do you actually genuinely connect with people is kind of the biggest question I think for all of us as men in our 30s, you know.
Yeah.
And how do we become better fathers? You know, how do we connect with people that are like us? You know, just more to life than you know. We don't party. We don't do any of the.
Yeah, and I think it's funny too because like when we're younger in our early 20s, I always say like the 20s is where you're learning, right, and you're failing, and that's your opportunity to really go and do a lot of different things and fail at things. And then 30s is building era. In your 40s and 50s, that's the reaping and the sowing era. But in the 20s, it's like all you want to do is just make money and figure out how to make money. Because I remember getting out of college and like I had no idea what I was going to do. And now I've been in medical sales and like the medical industry for over a decade now. And like all I want to do is initially just make money. But as you get older, all you want to do now is just like push that back out to community and help other people grow and help people, you know, learn from your mistakes and overall help the community.
Yeah,
That's kind of what I'm working on right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's actually a funny metaphor. Was there was the Galunde up in Snowball. I went snowboarding for the first time in like 4 years.
Yeah, how'd that go?
It was hilarious.
I haven't been in like 6 years, so.
Snowball was definitely also hilarious just because it's Snowball. But there was a 16-year-old that was jumping off. So it's like the Galunde or whatever it's called. Basically one of those like Olympic jump offs. That's like the landing platform. The knuckle is 80 feet away from or maybe even 80 yards. I forget. Big difference, but I didn't do the math. And it was, you know, the knuckle is very far. I think it was 174 yards or feet that they were flying. But the 16-year-old, I was like, well, if you fall, that's the time to do it. Because, you know, when you fall in your 30s,
Dude.
and it's a metaphor, though, to like, you know, starting business, doing anything. When you fall in your 30s, it definitely is a little different.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
I'm starting to feel, you know, I'm making more calculated adjustments to when I launch a new business. Obviously, you know, I have 1,000 businesses, and they're more calculated now of like, oh, this is how I can, you know, mimic people that I know are successful. Obviously, the biggest one is customer service. Seems to be the only topic that I bring up of my good clients versus my bad clients is customer service and like the connective piece and making it easy for people to communicate like within a brand. Either that's through a, you know, AI chatbot that knows your brand that can get leads overnight is a cool feature nowadays. But you know, every single time it's just like, how do you connect better with people in your community, in your online community, within your brand, or like whatever. But yeah, if you fall in your 30s, and it takes a little longer to get up, but
Yeah, you got to stretch a little bit more nowadays.
yeah. So yeah, when you fall at a young age, do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got a question for you since you're the marketing guru. So my qualm with marketing has always been like, how do you handle this? Because when you have clients, right, and you're doing all the work on the back end to bring them clientele, there's not much you can do. Like, once the client's in the door, or once that client contacts that business, it's kind of up to them. Going back to your customer service point of view there, it's like, how do you teach them about customer service so they can retain those customers?
Yeah. Like, how do you, as in, if they don't have it, how do you get it as a marketer?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm asking too, is that something that you implement within your marketing programs that you offer to clients? Because again, you can bring all the clients in the world to their business, but if they don't have the right customer service for that specific patient or client or whatever, they're not going to retain it, right?
Right.
So is that something that you implement, or is it kind of like, hey, I'll bring you all the customers, but it's up to you then?
Well, yeah, because actually it's funny you're saying that too, because Logan, that was on last week, he's kind of like the customer service guru, if you will. That's how he's been so successful, is that he can communicate, he can network. He's been my biggest referral starting point. He introduces me to everyone in Missoula. Like, he's the man.
He's a connector.
Oh yeah, and he, like, my biggest clients in Missoula are from Logan. So very, very thankful for him. But I was even like, how do you become the coach of, like, how do you coach this into, because it would be a coaching, right? It's not like I can influence that, like, hey, make sure that you're responding to these people.
Correct.
But then, there's templates and stuff that you can try to avoid. Hey, Mike, this person reached out 2 weeks ago. Why haven't you reached back out? Like, very blanket statement. But, I can't be like, hey, Mike, be more likable. Like, that's a personality thing that you either need Jesus for, or, you can find some business, kind of concept or coaching or mentor. But my job as a marketer is to just get them leads, right? The problem is, though, is they need to close it. And, being a salesperson, like, it's a personality trait that you're kind of born with, or you're just a likable person. I've been winging that mainly as the sales piece. I'm not a sales guy. But as you know, you need to do sales to do anything. So, yeah.
So short answer is, like, you can implement certain software and systems in place for the client, like like text message or like emails that will go out and say, hey, here's your follow up or whatever, things like that, like software things that you can implement into that.
Yeah. It's once again, a lot of people can sniff AI, and my AI is amazing. I have an AI virtual assistant, bot, everything that can do customer service, but it's at the end of the day, they just want to talk to someone real, because they just know that they're getting the same question answer.
It's more generic.
Yeah. So, yeah, yes and no. What's that analogy? You can guide a horse to water, but
can't make them drink.
Yeah, can't make them drink.
Yep.
That's the
and ultimately that's what they're paying you for, is just to drive customers and leads, right?
Yeah.
So it's up to them to close it.
And if there is a solution where I can do everything for them, then that'd be awesome. But it's hard as the marketer being the customer service rep for them when they're the that's an entirely different department. That's sales, really. But yeah, I can get them to the point of holding their hand, like you kind of mentioned, where it's like, here's your follow-up, make sure that you're on the call, make sure you see these frequently asked questions before you go on the call, and maybe we can answer them before. There are steps that I can do more structurally to help guide, but at the end of the day, they want to work with you, because there's 1,000 different options. There's 1,000 different marketers. At the end of the day, I would rather have a Zoom call with them face to face, and banter, and be myself in front of them, so that they can choose to work with me.
So what differentiates you? I'm interviewing you now.
Yeah, cool.
But what differentiates your marketing firm, agency versus other ones, specifically in Missoula?
I am more longevity of, like, the legacy of your brand. So, like, I love partnering with people that actually love their business. At the end of the day, like, I started marketing to end scammy marketing, and through that, basically learned, a lot of marketers are great salespeople, but they don't even know how to do their own websites, where I knew how to do websites first and didn't know how to do sales. So I built my business off referrals, and I'm not even going to, like, pretend like I'm the best salesperson, but I try to relate with clients, and then, when I'm working with them, it's month to month. Like, do you still want to pay me? Oh, cool. You know, and I've had the same clients for 10 years. And so it's like, obviously for certain people that understand marketing, they enjoy everything that I do. Obviously there's some people that are just like, hey, I don't think this is a good fit. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm trying to make sure that they're heard and make sure that I'm doing everything that I'm saying I'm doing, and making sure that it like is put in place. There's a brand standard, you know, there is a standard of marketing that you need to do. And I just do it. And then, you know, the reporting and stuff is like the more sales like concept where it's like upselling and whatever. But
So I was on the opposite side of that spectrum because I used to sell digital marketing.
oh
I don't
yeah,
know if you
yeah,
remember
right,
that.
right, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, out in Denver, I used to sell digital marketing, and I was the sales force for this digital marketing firm.
Right.
But the problem that I always had was I would sell them a package, we'd customize something for them, but then once I sold them, I would leave, and so I didn't really know what that was like for the client.
Right.
And oftentimes, I'm sure that our marketing team didn't do the best job for them.
Right.
And so I always couldn't like really sleep well at night because I'm always a person that's going to stand behind what I'm selling. And to me, it was very like turn and burn sales. It's like, I just want to get a sale and then go on to the next business. And I really struggle with that. And so it's nice that you kind of have the full package inside your marketing firm to do all of that, be the sales and also be the actual results for the client. And so that's special because a lot of these big firms, I think, and again, you probably speak to more marketing firms than I could, but I would imagine that a lot of these big marketing firms have the sales force that I used to work for, and then they would go in and sell the packages. But then really what that packages resulted that client, who knows?
Yeah.
So,
And they don't like, that's why I say turn and burn. And I mean, a lot of people, even as business owners, understand that, and they kind of sometimes respect that more. I want to be respected for I tried my hardest to get you that result, and I'm sorry your service or product just sucks ass. Like maybe you start there
That's something you
before
can't
you
help.
need marketing. Yeah. So
but again, it goes back to like you having the ownership of your business. Like you get to choose your clients too.
yeah.
So it's an interview for them just as much as it is them for you. And so you get to really choose the products and the services and the companies that you want to work with too.
Right. Yeah, and that's the luxury of the freedom of having your own business is, you know, I'm going to try to work with everyone, but, you know, if it's someone I don't want to work with, I can fire them too. So I don't need $1 billion. Maybe your past employer needed $1 billion
Right.
To hire you because you are probably pretty
My
expensive.
value is pretty high. So.
Yeah, that's where, you know, there's a happy medium. I kind of wish I was like, you know, right in the middle of that, or I could afford to hire people and pay them more than me would be nice. And even like donations to, you know, church or foundations, like that's pretty cool when you have that freedom. But, you know, I've never made $100 million, so I don't know if it'd go to my head or not. I believe it wouldn't, but you never know.
The man that you're becoming, it won't go to your head.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite niche? Like when you're marketing to a specific niche of an industry, what's like your go-to?
Yeah, well, it's a good question. I get asked that. You know, everyone's like, what's that term? Niche or die or whatever. It's more cool than that. But I tend to be most successful in the car industry. So like dealerships, e-commerce. Car e-commerce sites are, I mean, they're insane.
Yeah.
If you get in like the Toyota crew, like, dude, those dudes are so loyal, and I already know exactly who it is.
Dang.
Because they purchase it, they tell you about it, and you can just target them directly. So it's kind of like a home run. And they pay an insane amount for, you know, car dealerships, you know, everything just in cars.
That's not the industry I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say something with like AI or something like that.
No, that's just how I automate without employing, you know. I like AI and where it's going, but it's also just it's a supplement, right? It's not like it's not going to get you buff, right? It's a supplement to your business that hopefully you can scale with. But it's not a business that tech sales, like if you can get a tech company marketing, if you can get a tech company as a client, they make so much money. They just print money. So it would be nice, but at the end of the day, it's not really my
Well, the tech industry is coming out to Montana, I heard.
Yeah, they've been here for a while. Onyx and yeah, there's some big boys. But at the end, that's actually what we were just talking about earlier was they want to control the marketing team. They don't want to trust the marketing team. They want to control them. So it's kind of as like, you know, do I want the freedom or do I want to get paid? I want the freedom, and I want my clients to have the freedom as well. So a lot of times is like they're trapped with marketing. They're trapped with, you know, these tech companies. I could talk shit about them all day, but I choose not to. But these tech companies, just like we said, they're just looking for the sale, you know, and then they'll only try to, you know, give you those results when you're about to leave, and then they just stick you in the loop. But I'm there behind the scenes, just doing everything that I can to promote them, which also restricts my business to grow to $1 billion because you can't do that by yourself.
Yeah.
But
with all the systems in place and potential discoveries with AI and things like that, you can implement into your business and can scale. You've scaled quite a bit just by yourself.
Yeah. No, it's been nice, and I've scaled once again the freedom of time is just amazing.
I don't know how you do that, dude. You have like 15 hobbies that you pursue plus 25 businesses.
Either
you're like a master time manipulator, or like you know how to manage time really well. I don't know how you do it.
It's ADD. It's thinking of time more creatively. Of, you know, I could sneak in bowling in that hour. I could go work out, you know, for 45 minutes. I can. It's just the getting to the destinations. I'd say the hardest part, because you need motivation. You need, like, you know, to have structure to get to the gym. You know, the weirdest one for me is like getting in workout clothes. It takes 2 seconds, but I hate doing it.
And the gym's like right across the street.
Yeah, and it's right there. I hate changing in the locker rooms. Like, I'd rather just come back to the office just sweaty, which is a weird thing because it literally takes 2 seconds to undress and get new clothes on. But yeah, that's like the excuses and boundaries obviously are usually if you just do it. Oh, that's a slogan. Damn it.
So do you plan out your weeks in advance, like Sunday night, sit down and plan out your weeks, or is it like day to day, or how do you manage your time?
I have my meetings. Obviously, those you need to be professional for. So I have client meetings. I have all this like scheduled, you know, admin work stuff scheduled, and I stay accountable to that. Everything else is just roll with the punches. Yeah. Everything you see as content, it's just wung. Like, you just came in to say hi. We're filming.
We're podcasting. Yeah.
Doing it. Yeah.
I'm interviewing you. So
yeah. It's sick. I love it.
I want to get you content, man.
Yeah, no, I love it. Thank you. No one's ever thought about me. That's adorable.
I'm a giver.
Yeah.
Really, I'm a giver. Okay.
Yeah.
My whole sales philosophy is add more value than I ask for. So I want to make sure that you get the content today, Austin.
That's good. I'll pay you. You'll invoice me after.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So agenda, you're crushing it in pharmaceutical sales. You're getting closer with God, and then you're on a project that's a secret, right? And then, what else?
It's been something that I've been like planning and prepping and thinking about for probably like a year and a half. And I think I'm getting to the point where I have the tools in place to start really like implementing it. So I'm hoping within the next like 3 to 4 months, it should be out.
Nice.
But my goal too is like, I love my job. I love my industry. It's something I kind of just fell into, but at the same time, I know that it's potentially not going to be here forever. And so that's why I'm constantly investing in real estate, investing in crypto. I'm always trying to create these avenues for me. So like multiple streams of revenue over the course of my life to where 10, 15 years from now, I'm not necessarily going to need a job and I can fall back on those resources. So I'm a futuristic thinker, and it's kind of like to the detriment of me because I often think too much about the future. And I was just listening to a podcast about Ed Milet was talking about this, that either you thinking back in the past or you thinking too futuristic can be a detriment if you go too far either way.
Yeah.
So I think we talked about this last time, but having that balance of understanding like, okay, it's good to think about the future. It's okay to like reminisce on the past, but you can't go too far either way because it can be a detriment to you.
Right.
So.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And it brings anxiety and depression, right? If you think about the past of who Mike used to be, you're just going to be depressed.
Yeah, it's a depressing road back there, dude.
All of ours is.
I start peeking back in the curtain, and it's like, oh, that's not good.
That's good. Look at where you're at now because of it. The story's amazing. You know, everyone's story is so unique. And that's back to, like, branding and, like, every company, there's 1,000 competitors. Like, whatever you're launching, everyone's done it. It's already been done. Hell, I probably did it. But, you know, everything's been done. but what you can put into it is obviously your story, and that's about it. Like every company has such a unique story. Nothing's like an original thought, but the way you got there is original to you. And
Yeah, and I don't think it's very smart, especially when you're starting out, like building a company. Like, don't reinvent the wheel. You don't need to. There's so many different variations of things that you can do that you can create and customize to make your own. But there's no sense in recreating the wheel unless you're like Elon Musk creating Tesla or SpaceX or whatever. But yeah, I mean, there's no point in recreating the wheel. So I'd rather have a wheel that's kind of half shitty and then just like fix it up and make it my own.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, and there's enough business for everyone. I feel like that's why I always refer other marketers out.
Yeah.
Like if I don't think that me and the prospect client are aligning, I don't have a problem. Once again, not being the salesperson, I don't have a problem being like, actually, I think you should go with these guys because they can actually perform what you want. It sounds like you just want to scale and just want to, do your thing. And I got a perfect person for you for that.
That's awesome, dude.
And it took a while for me to first give that lead to someone else because that's scary because it's a huge lead, right? It's like
Potential money out the door.
$100,000 lead a month. And at the end of the day, I don't choose it because it's not because of performance, but it's more that they don't align with like the love of their business. They just want to flip, just like a rental property, right? It's like, it's not a forever home. I want these businesses to be like forever businesses.
Yeah. It's a different business model at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of business owners miss what you just said there, where like everybody wants to scale their business, everybody wants to grow their business. There's so many different ways of doing that. But I think the thing that a lot of business owners miss, that I see a lot in business owners, is that they don't use the community. They don't refer people out.
Yeah, they don't have fans.
They don't have fans. Yeah, you need to have fans. There's a book out there. It's called Oversubscribed.
Oh, nice.
And it talks a lot about that. And
Good title.
yeah, that's kind of the goal of the business. Like you want to have fans, to your point, where you're oversubscribed and you're wanted so much that you can essentially charge whatever you need for that. And that just increases your overall value too.
Yeah, it's interesting. Oversubscribed to me means like you scaled too fast and you kind of like lost the romance. Just like overloved in a marriage is like a concept that doesn't seem that fun, right? Like you guys almost like went too fast and like now you're married with kids and you're trapped or whatever. But then,
Yeah, I think you'd have to read the book. But the book I think is more of
well, it's a good thing.
yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Oversubscribed in the sense of you have so many fans, so many people that are wanting your services and they like you, but it's something that you have to build over time. It's not something that you can just create overnight.
Right.
To be in a position where you are feeling that oversubscribed in a good way.
Yeah.
And again, going back to like, if you have all these fans, you have all this these services that people want, like, know, and trust, then you can essentially charge whatever you want for that service.
Yeah, and that's a interesting concept. Is how do you monetize fans? Is a weird like duping game sometimes, but like the psychology of a sale, like what's too much money and like what's not enough money. Like obviously, a lot of my family and friends don't do marketing with me, right? They would rather. It's like a weird game. Obviously, you know it too. Like you're I think the Fubu guy, John, what's his name?
Yeah, I know.
The Shark
face.
Tank, whatever. He was like
Damon John.
Yeah, Damon John. I forget what he was talking about, but basically like in Fubu, he sold to people, random people on the streets. But they said like, why don't you sell to like your mom and your family? He's like, oh, I mean, they're gonna be the obvious like. Yeah, we're gonna support you. Buy one shirt. They're not gonna be your valued customer, right? They're not gonna pay for all of your stuff unless they're super supportive. But majority of like, I don't have one client that's a family member, right? And even all the apparel stuff, like I don't think any of my friends or family actually bought them. I think it's more just like given as a gift. But it's like a weird concept of the love for the fans that actually gave you that shot and then they're loyal to you. Like it's a really cool like relationship with those random people that I don't want to overcharge them. I don't want to undercharge them. I just want it to like be a good relationship. So that's like the psychology of that. It's
dude, that difficult. Is the psychology of that is really interesting because now we live in a world too where people are creating these online schools or ebooks or whatever the case it may be that you're selling out in the marketplace online, and they go anywhere from $25 to $25,000. It's like, what is the true value of this?
Yeah.
So it's hard to figure out what a good price point should be for you to start out with, and as you grow, how fast should that price increase?
Right. Well, and it's like, sure, you could put like a return on it so to comfort yourself. Like, oh, if you listen to everything that I'm telling you, you're gonna make $100,000. So I'm gonna charge you 25,000.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
No brainer. But
Yeah.
you know, at the end of the day, it's like, once again, like customer service. Like, good business owners have good customer service, but that's a personality trait that I can't teach myself. And that's the same with, you know, overscaling or talking to your fans, right? Or like actually showing that you're appreciative to these people is a personality trait. You can't, like, you have to genuinely love these people. You can't half-ass it. And that's why I love like Reddit and Facebook and all this stuff, is that you get called out.
Oh yeah.
Hard.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I've only been called out like twice, but it's nice when someone does call you out in like a weird way, because every time everyone's like, yeah, you're amazing, blah blah, but you know, like, you haven't made it until people start talking shit. And I haven't made it yet. So.
Well, I think that you're good at that though. Like,
Yeah.
you're good at not being overwhelmed by the noise, but seeing the noise for what it is. And then when people are giving you the negative feedback, it's like, okay, I appreciate that, and why?
Yeah, and I'm curious. I'm you know, did I fuck up? Like,
Well, because you want to get better, right?
Yeah. And that goes with life too. Like, I don't like conflict, but I do love learning.
I love conflict.
It-
I know you, bro.
It gives you an opportunity to find something that's deep.
Yeah.
Regardless if it's the person, like, or if it's actually me. I'm humble enough to be like, oh shit, I fucked up, my bad. But if it's the person, like, damn, they're hurting.
Throws it in.
Yeah. Are you hurting?
I'm hurting, dude.
You want to talk shit? That'd be a good podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting concept, man. So yeah, whatever you're doing, man, you're doing something right. I'll tell you that. I mean, it's cool. It's cool to watch you grow and see where you started and where you're at now. And just like me, like, we all have a story, and it's cool because, I mean, I went the corporate route, you went the like entrepreneurial route, and you just like burned the ships to do this. And how long you been doing this now?
I've had Weasel since 2013.
Yeah.
And
So
then-
over a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we basically started like the same time, and I went into the corporate route and you did this route. But, you know, I'm sure there's been a lot of peaks and valleys through what you've been through in the last decade or so. But it seems like in the last 5-ish years, you've really like dedicated to building this thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, so I needed a, you know, Paisley was born. I needed that corporate job too. So I was like dabbling in restaurants, working, you know, 60-hour weeks there, but then also doing Weasel on the side. So like, obviously I did not sleep, and everything I did like was under the curtain. Like, I'd never showboated anything, and more or less I didn't know how to showboat because it wasn't cool. None of the things I did was cool.
Yeah.
And so it's not like I'm posting like, hey, I stayed up till 3 and woke up at 6 again. Like,
Yeah.
how cool am I? And it's like, at one point I had, I think, 3 salaried restaurant jobs just to make what I was making in Denver.
Yeah.
So I'd wake up at 6, go to the airport, open up all that crap, and then I think I did have 3 salaried GM positions, and none of them knew that I was. But I gave them what they needed. You know, I did everything that I was supposed to. Just worked 7 days a week at each spot so that I could get my hours in. It was just a grind. And that's why I'm out here, because I was grinding in Denver, and I'm like, damn, restaurants suck. Like, this blows. Like, Weasel is getting neglected and like all this stuff. So I'm like, screw it, jump ship, like, really grind for myself. And that was, I mean, I think I slept less going into my own thing, but yeah, now it's here because, you know, I did grind, and I still grind too much, but it's, you know, I can do it at home, and
Yeah.
hopefully not
Kind of
ignore
build your
the
schedule
kids
on
too
that.
much. Yeah.
I don't ever want to open up a restaurant,
Yeah.
but if I ever do, I'm calling you.
Yeah.
And we're going to operate
I'll
together.
consult it. Yeah.
I feel like
I'm not-
I could have like some good ideas for restaurants, but like I don't ever want to mess with it because the margins suck so bad,
it's
and it's such a headache.
once again, you have to own the restaurant. Like, if you own the real estate, then you're good.
Yeah.
But then obviously to scale it, you have to have those franchise models that work. How do you train? How do you implement training structure so that people actually love going? Like, once again, customer service is huge. Like,
Especially in the restaurant business. Yeah.
what's funny is, like, honestly, the only thing that you need to like hire, like, every manager that I would, you know, I had, I think 6 Smashburger locations that I was kind of like a part of as a regional manager, because everyone quit because they were scaling too high. They're like, Austin, you're the man. And so every single time, even at Smashburger, I had hosts like cleaning the door. Like literally their only job was to just like tidy up things. They wash the door probably 100 times.
Yeah, I've been in restaurant business a little bit, and that was typically my job, like cleaning up bathroom stalls and cleaning up.
Oh yeah, the bathroom stalls.
I was a greeter too, I guess, but
the
I wasn't cool
part,
enough to be like an actual host.
So like, this is funny. You might know now that like whenever you go to a restaurant, if you're like, that was a great experience, it's usually from the host. Make like the elevator pitch, right? It's still attainable in restaurants, which people don't really understand, is that the host needs to be paid the most. That rhymes.
There you go.
That person should be paid the most because it's the first impression. It's like literally everything. They burn the fires. Usually on a wait list, they're the most like they're hangry.
So is that why like a manager will typically be up front?
Yeah, if they're
set
good.
this-
If it's a
set
good
the tone.
restaurant, that's usually a tall tale sign that they actually care. They're the first impression. Usually the other manager is the expo. So usually if you're like a really good restaurant, the two most like accountable people that are like great with customers and great with service is the host and then the expo. Because then the expo is like, once again, the first impression of your food is very, so it's like, you have to like really make sure that the plate looks nice, even if you're not a fine dining restaurant.
So I'm thinking more of like a taco truck.
Well, yeah, same thing.
Mike's
though.
crazy breakfast burritos.
Love
Put that
it.
on
Yeah, make sure that you just train the person that's like taking the orders. The menu's nice, clean.
I'm just gonna hire you, so you just do it all. 'Cause I don't want to deal with it.
I'll definitely consult it. I'm not gonna work it, but
We'll get some franchises going. We'll have like 600 taco trucks across the nation.
Yeah, I'd be extremely offended if you didn't use me as your restaurant guy. I know restaurants,
Yeah, you do.
like, and I hate it. That sucks that I mastered restaurants.
Where do you think the future of restaurants are going? I mean, obviously people want to go out and eat, and that really hasn't died down. But again, I think like with the cost of food and things like that, like the margins are going down in business for like restaurants.
Yeah. I mean, shit, it's a great point. Obviously, been out of the game for a little bit, but as far as like margins and stuff, you have to really hone in on the to-go orders and the pickup orders. Like, create your own DoorDash instead of paying them the frickin' like 4%. It's insane how much like DoorDash and Uber take of these like small mom and pops. It's messed up, but they don't know how to scale with like technology, so they have to rely on these things.
It's
and they're,
exposure for them, but they're paying up the ass for it.
yeah, exposure. But it's like usually they go to their site first, and then they're looking for a to-go option. Usually you just used to just call in, and they have a delivery guy, or you come pick it up. But now it's like they just try to piggyback DoorDash. But to-go items is amazing because then you can scale without actually putting a ass in the seat, which is a great concept, right? You're charging them the same to get a to-go piece, and they don't even
And can't you typically charge more for that too?
Yeah, some well,
I guess
usually you charge
delivery.
more because delivery fee. And that should go to the deliverer. So like if you have like a delivery team, but then once again it's managing that person. So DoorDash is nice in that sense that it's they have the freaking billionaire code to orchestrate that. But once again, it ruins the experience of it. DoorDash people like shake up your food, and it's just not the same.
Yeah.
So if you're in the luxury brand of restaurants, then I would recommend like having your own delivery service or to go, just to go items. But and overhead, a lot of people don't know how to manage overhead. So you can actually make a lot of money if you have a manager that's cutting people, like making sure that they're working or doing something relevant, or there is a structure. That's where the franchise structure, they make so much money.
Really, franchise do?
Dude, the margins are amazing because they train well. People enjoy working.
And they typically have like all the same vendor, right? For food.
Yeah, they
purposes and things like that.
negotiate from top to bottom, everything. So like, I mean, I recommend, if you're graduating from high school, to either get in the restaurant service or get into like military, just to learn structure. Because both fields you have to deal with, like the bus boy, the dishwashers. Same in the military, right? You kind of get talked down to, and like you are put in your spot, which is the same in restaurants. Some customer that's like hoity-toity and has an ego, they'll put you in their spot, and it's up to you to do what you will with that
in a respectful way.
Hopefully, yeah. And like how to be a leader in those moments, everything that I do with stress is from a restaurant experience. Like I've had so many people yell at me, you know, just like want to be heard really. So it's like, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. Like therapize these people. But that translated to parenting, that translated to, you know, everything besides marketing really, because I choose my clients, but and I'm very accountable to like communication and stuff. But yeah, any confrontation, now I look at it as like an opportunity of like, oh, this is like the restaurant time when I learned and I grew and I did everything was through that time of stress, and then getting out of it was like, oh, everything's okay.
Yeah. I don't know how we got down the restaurant business, but I'm not opening a restaurant anytime soon. But if I do, I'm calling Austin.
Yeah. I want to try your, that sounds weird. I want to try your taco.
Try my taco. I got a burrito, bro, not a taco.
Yeah, okay, good.
But yeah, dude, I mean, going back to like what you were saying as far as what I was saying, when you're in your 20s, right, and you're learning and you're failing, and now you've created a business because of those failures through the restaurant business and stuff like that. All this stuff is implemented into what you build now today, essentially. And yeah, I think you're doing the right thing, man.
Yeah, likewise. And I'm excited to wrap it up. Excited to figure out, you know, what's next on the Mike's calendar, and supportive 100%. You'll be on here again and again and again.
Let's go.
Might as well live here.
I'll just every 2 weeks I'll pop on here and just say what up.
You should actually. I got 5 minutes. Let's podcast real quick.
Yeah, my job is, I got, you know, kind of something similar to you in the sense of like I create my own schedule. The challenge part is like I cover the whole state of Montana right now, so I'm constantly on the road. But I mean, I'm coming through Missoula all the time, and so definitely more opportunities to do this.
Yeah, love it. Well, yeah, we'll squash it there. But thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Always good seeing you.
Yeah, man.
Pretty face.
Good little pod.
So pretty.
Thanks, buddy. Love you, man.